Uh, Hello everyone, this is John Jenkins and I wanted to bring another video for you. I have not done a video in about 7 days. So, the focus of this video is two things. First of all, I've defined a new term, a new literary term, which has not been previously defined, and I call it Trismalga. And what is Trismalga? Trismalga is a literary device in which you quote your own thoughts. You put your own thoughts in quotation marks. Something that you were thinking in your head, you put that in quotation marks as if you were quoting a source. And um, I've done some research, and I have not seen this listed anywhere on Google as a literary device. So I'm saying that I'm guessing that this is pretty new. They said something about quoting your own thoughts when writing a research paper, but I don't think that they would. I think that they say, you know, you have to write "I think this" or "I think that," and then I think they say don't put it in quotation marks it, because that's not MLA style. But in my mind, you should be able to quote you should be able to put your own thoughts in quotation marks. And there's one main reason to do this is that you know I talked a while back about the no imagination fallacy, and basically the reason you use a trismalga is when you are trying to quote your thoughts. It's something that you thought but not necessarily what you believe. You quote it in your mind because it's a synthesis of what you understand about another person's thoughts. As in, if you're if you're debating somebody and they say a whole bunch of stuff, and you already understand what they're talking about, but they wanna babble on about something, uh, and but you already understand what they really mean, so you can take everything that they put together and you can synthesize it into one idea. I'm a I'm a sloganarian, so I talk in slogans. So just synthesize. You can synthesize everything that they say, and you can put it into a concise, uh, well put together argument as to what they maybe sort of like what they should have said, to get their point across. Sometimes you have to make another person's argument for them because they're not good at formulating a coherent argument. So, what they it's sort of like the what they should have said, and then you synthesize that in your brain, and then you quote that from your brain. So you're quoting yourself, but it's not necessarily what you believe. And that's why you put it in quotation marks instead of just writing, this is this way. Well, you know, that might have been what I was thinking at the time because that was my understanding of the situation. That was my understanding of what somebody else thought, but that's not necessarily what I believe. I believe this. Or, you know, you can also do it to say it's the same thing, but you could also say, well, all the evidence points to this. All the evidence points to this conclusion, but that's not what I believe. So, and you can also do it if you can also do a trismalga if your beliefs and the evidence do coincide, but you still want to make a distinction. So you put it in quotes so that so it it's 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 they're both your belief and the belief you're quoting both lead to the same conclusion, but you want to make there's certain nuances. You want to separate yourself so that you don't get lumped in the same category with the people who believe that, and so you don't you quote your thoughts so to make a distinction between this is what I think but not what I believe. Uh, and that was the first one, Trismalga. And the second one is another diagnosis for myself. And when I was growing up, well, when I became an adult, people kept people started to comment that when I talk, there's this big gap in between what I say, and I thought it was brain damage at first, but it's probably not brain damage just based off of other evidence. I've probably been this way my whole life, and I called it. Well, I should preface this by saying that I grew up with computers. I had I believe it was a Macintosh. When actually no, the schools had the Macintosh. I had a really old Windows PC when I was a kid. This was way back when. Remember the game School Bus, where you had to go through the neighborhood and pick up the kids for the school bus. I had, you know, Where in the World is Carmen San Diego, Prodigy Internet back when Prodigy was the first AOL. You know, we had that for a while. So I've been around computers my whole life, and uh, I call this digital signing because very recently I realized that I was modeling, I was evolving, I was adapting to imitate my favorite Windows operating system, which was Windows 95. And when 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 I was taking these long pauses in between everything I said, it was directly mimicking the way that Windows 95 works. If you remember, you would click on an icon, and then you would hear the plate spinning on the hard drive, and you can hear and you can hear the computer thinking. That's the way it was. That's the way it is with me. Now you can practically hear me thinking. Uh, and so yeah, I was modeling myself after my favorite Windows operating system. This is something that nobody is studying. I mean, this is a gold mine. This is a gold mine. And obviously, if you go to a modern psychiatrist, they really don't understand human beings at all. They don't understand how people think or how people are socialized at all. So they'll give you the absolute wrong diagnosis. Basically, they will just say that you are they'll just use the stock. Uh, they'll start off with the stock general purpose diagnosis, and then they'll switch you up and down the ladder every few years and change your diagnosis. But yeah, So I call it digital signing. It's when you mentally and physically uh, change your mode of behavior to imitate your favorite Windows operating system. And Windows is ubiquitous, so I mean, I could say your favorite Mac operating system, but Mac is basically the beatnik Windows or the hipster Windows. Uh, so yeah, so uh, and growing up, uh, growing up, my Windows PC was my best friend. I mean, uh, you know, I learned things from Windows that I learned things from Windows that I never would have learned uh, from my family, much less from the school system in America. And uh, you know, I remember all the free games that I used to play. I mean, that really got me through. Not having to wait for my mom to buy me a new game. I mean, AOL had this page called Antagonist, and they had a page where you could download free games, and you know, I didn't know what sex was until I got on the internet. So I mean, I'm learning how to program. I'm learning about physics, engineering, things of that nature. So Windows growing up has been my best friend. But I believe that I had modeled myself after my favorite Windows operating system, and as time goes on, right now I'm seeing that there's a smaller gap in between the words that I say, and that's a subject for another video. What's happening is that I'm seeing when I make a video for YouTube, when I making videos for YouTube uh, helps me to improve my speaking ability because I can see personally what that how I speak, and not only that, it gives me greater confidence because I'm putting myself out in front of the entire world. I mean, you know, YouTube is the best teacher out there right now. It'll teach you things that nobody else is willing to teach you. I mean, you know, if you want to understand, if you want to understand life, watch a few videos by PewDiePie and watch the the top 10 videos on YouTube. If you want to understand life and the way that life works, watch those videos a few times and you will understand, everything you need to know about life. Um, so, digital signing, of course, as as the operating system as the operating systems get faster, I also incorporated a little bit of hyper-threading in my repertoire. So I would, I would try to think two things at once, or things of that nature, or and you know, psychiatrists don't understand that either. So yeah, this is a new diagnosis. Nobody's researching this. So let me know what you think, and as always, have a nice day.